Good evening, welcome to Macclesfield Town Hall. The date today is Monday the 1st of December. Time is ticking away so quickly. Time is 7 o'clock and we're here to have the Macclesfield Town Council Services Committee. We'll kick straight in with item 1, apologies for absence.
So I've got apologies from Councillor Barbara Chadwick and Councillor Livingston is going to be 5 minutes late.
Thank you very much. Item 2, declarations of interest. No, I am going to declare a non-pecuniary interest in the supplementary agenda item. I do know a member of staff who works for the potential company on a personal level. I've got no dealings with the company itself, just for transparency purposes. No members of the public that are here to speak. So item 3, the minutes of the Services Committee meeting held on the 13th of October 2025. And these are for approval. Just 1 second, we have to wait for Councillor Livingston because the vote won't be called.
Okay,
yeah. So I'm just going to, I'll hold on until Councillor Livingston arrives, just so that we've got the quorum number for voting on that, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So again, we'll move on to item 5, skipping item 4 until we approve the minutes. So item 5 is community and 5.1 community engagement update.
So we've currently got 30 volunteers. I'm going to do a big push in the new year on New Year's resolutions and come and join our volunteering team. And they are amazing. They've helped so much because it's a really busy time of year for events and they've all been amazing. And as you can see, if we equate it to the minimum wage, it comes to £2,545.79. But the added value that they bring and their skills that they bring, it really is amazing. And that number will have gone up significantly in the last few weeks because they've been helping us with letter drops. Obviously, they're stepping into Christmas. So yeah, invaluable. Also, the Macclesfield Food Partnership had a little break over Christmas because it's their really busy time, but they are going to be circulating a list of what's open over the festive period, so if people need help with food, and I'll circulate that to the councillors as soon as it's finished.
Thank you very much. Again, just for the on the volunteer side, we know how much the volunteers give up their time to help the staff, but also they've got their own knowledge as well, so it just equates to more value. Again, if we can pass our thanks on to volunteers, that would be absolutely fantastic. Any other comments? No? Okay, so 5.2 is CVS, CE.
Yes, so it wasn't long since their last report, so this one's a bit more condensed. They've been providing some safeguarding training to ArtSpace, they've been working a lot with ArtSpace again, and although it says here that they hadn't reviewed the grant applications, actually we did have a meeting a couple of weeks ago because this report was written in advance, so they have reviewed some further grant applications for us, and they're always a great advisor on those.
Thank you very much. And again, CVS, the amount of work that they do, working in relation. It's all Councillor Livingston. A moment to settle down.
That doesn't work. I might not use it.
So, as I said, the work that CVS do, not just to help ourselves and the work that we do and the grants, but obviously in the community as well, is absolutely fantastic. Anybody, any questions or comments? No? Okay. Do you have your papers? I was thinking some.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. So the meeting has started. I'm just going to go back to the minutes of the last meeting because we just need to call the amount of people to approve those. Ready? Those in-
Yeah, I'll propose.
Yeah, thank you very much. Are you seconding, Councillor? Yeah, so all those in favour of those being shown on record, thank you very much. Any abstentions? Councillor Wilson, thank you very much. And are there any matters arising from the minutes of the last Services Committee? No? Okay, thank you. So moving back to the agenda, item 6, local service delivery, 6.1 is our events update.
Yes. Going back to October with Nature Needs You, we had our first named storm of the season that meant we had to move our event indoors. Ironically, this is an event that the tagline is enjoy the outdoors, whatever the weather, but the weather was a bit extreme, so we did have to make the decision to move it indoors. We were watching the weather in the week leading up, and it was just getting progressively worse. So I think it was Wednesday or Thursday that we made the final decision that we were going to have to move it inside. And I have to say, like, the Silk Museum were amazing. Before we'd even made the decision, they got in touch and said, if you need to move it indoors, you can have the museum, use as much space as you like, it's open to you. And that was so kind, and that really helped us spur us on to make the decision. So between them and then some last minute help from the United Reformed Church as well, we were able to split the event in the same way that we do with Luna, because we use both of those venues for Luna, so people know how to get from one to the other, and as a split site. So we ended up having half of the event in the United Reformed Church and half of it in the Silk Museum. And it was lovely, like people really did make the effort to come out and got blown in off the street, and we were able to keep pretty much all of the aspects that we normally have. We still had the storyteller, we still had the owls, we didn't toast any marshmallows, they might have drawn the line at that, but we still had all the activities and everything. People really came together to make the best of it and to put on the event, which was really lovely. So we were really happy that we managed to go ahead and still do the event in a slightly different way. So yeah, that was exciting. That was an exciting start to the season. Things picked up a bit for Spooky. We held Spooky Saturday at the end of the month, and again another lovely busy day. Nice bright skies, a bit breezy but lovely. We had art space in the Grosvenor again. The Pumpkin Trail had a record 54 businesses taking part in the Pumpkin Trail. And that included businesses that were new to the town, but also some businesses that have been well established for a long time, but they've never been on the trail. So that was quite a nice metric of how popular the trail has become, and people are picking up on that. We had different activities. We had a walkabout act called the Humber Monster, which was hysterical and thrilled and terrified children in equal measure, which is what Halloween is all about. And White Blossom did us one of their beautiful archways as a photo opportunity, which was lovely again. Then 2 weeks after that, this is how this season goes, always 2 weeks, we had Remembrance Sunday and Armistice Day. The weather really held off for Remembrance Sunday, which was great, really sort of pushed it back into the afternoon. It was a large crowd. We had the screens for the first time this year, and that seemed to work really well. We had lots of positive comments about that. Yeah, it was a nice busy day for us. And then on Armistice Day, on the Tuesday, a local care home got in touch and said that one of their residents was 103 years old, Jim, and he was a World War II Navy veteran, and he wanted to come along and show his respects for the day and lay a wreath. And he did that, and he also appeared on BBC Northwest, I want to say. And they interviewed Jim, they filmed in the building, and that was out that evening. And then, obviously, we had Step Into Christmas Saturday just gone. Not the best weather for it, but it really picked up in the afternoon, and it was a beautiful day after 2:30. And people still came out, people still braved the weather and came out and seemed to have a nice day. With all the music on stage, a mix of activities again, inside and outside. Our walkabout acts were absolute troopers and just kept ploughing out into the rain, and we had some lovely stuff. And yeah, so we'll see the results of that for the next services committee. And now we've got Twilight next Thursday, week on Thursday. Twilight Market will be coming back, and then we're looking ahead to January, February. So we've got the Lantern Parade, going into the sort of evening light activities out in the marketplace on the 24th of January, and then we'll have Lunar New Year on the 14th of February.
Thank you very much. As I always say, the events that we put on over the Town Council are absolutely fantastic. Headed by yourself and the rest of the team. Just want to make a note that it's fantastic to see people coming together to help us to put on events, especially in relation of the Zult Museum, the HNG, to be able to be approached by these people to say, if you need us. I think it just goes to show the strength that we've got with the local community. Just want to ask a question. In relation to the Spooky Saturday, you mentioned the established businesses that came in for the first time. Is there any feedback from them of how they found or?
None. You're putting me on the spot now.
Sorry.
There's always a few that get back in touch. It was from the indoor market.
Yeah,
we had some nice comments from the indoor market.
Yeah.
We do get them. I never write them down really bad, but yes, we get some nice feedback.
It's
quite
usually
often verbal.
a no news is good news thing.
Yeah.
So they'll email in negative stuff, but if it's good, they just don't say
But then
anything.
if you're in there and you're chatting, then they'll talk about how busy it was. So we had quite a few verbal ones, but yeah.
It's just interesting to obviously see the established businesses that have come in for a trail. It's just to try and gauge where they were at as to why they didn't join to begin with.
Yeah.
But hopefully, continuing and doing other trails.
What's quite nice is when people come back with maps, they say, "Oh, I found some places I didn't know about," or "Oh, we ended up shopping in this place and we never knew it was there." So I think the word about that is spreading. That people are actually finding these places for the first time and they're actually going on to put it on their Christmas list and things.
I continue 1 second. I think the other overriding feature is the remembrance and the screens. I've seen so many fantastic positive messages about the screens. I think they also have a drone as well. No.
Not our drone.
All right.
Someone had a drone, not us.
That's what I heard. But I think it just gives those people that are outside the centre the connection to see what is actually going on in the Reeds Blue Lane. Councillor Bennett Lake.
Yeah, really just to echo what you've just said is that, we put these events on, not only do they increase footfall into the town, but they bring the community together, and that's what we really need to think about, what town centres are for now. Whilst a lot of people shop online, we need other reasons to come into town, and this is a grand opportunity for Macclesfield to come together, have fun, do a bit of shopping, get coffee, whatever, cup of tea, whatever your preference is, and it's really good. I noticed the bus was sponsored by, I don't know if that comes with place, but it's sponsored by Costa this time. I think that's a really good idea, because some people say it's not a free bus, but it's free at the point of use, and certainly it saved my little legs.
We always say free to ride.
Free to ride. Yeah. So, but also it encourages lots of people who wouldn't usually use the bus to use it. But I think that sponsorship is a good idea, and I thoroughly enjoyed all of these that I've attended, and at the weekend was just brilliant, and Elma played a good part in it too.
Councillor Livingston.
Yeah, just, I might say this every single time, but I think it's brilliant. I think it's that thing of what this does is supports community, makes community, but it also generates economic activity. So it's that thing of it does those two things. And I know the full council will consider the bid proposal at some point. And one of the things in discussion with those who are preparing that is that the town council continue to do what it does, allowed that then to be a supplement to what we do, not a replacement. And I think that distinction means that then the business community are bringing forward something specific for the business community, rather than trying to supplement something the town council does, unlike other towns. Right? And I think that's an important reflection. If anybody asks why we do this and what the value is, it's in the footfall figures. plus the joy of people's faces when you see it.
Any other comments now? Yeah, just trying to. Oh, I think it's just a report. Really.
We're just trying to access the photos.
These photos.
Yes.
Yes, these photos I just find them quite helpful.
Oh, there we
for
go.
me to remember what was
Yes, it's out of order. There we go. So yeah, some photographs from the events that have taken place. Thank you. Moving on, 6.2 floral displays. Seems that we've been busy winning awards again.
Yeah, so I think the amazing success again at Britain in Bloom, which is, I mean, there's a whole host of awards that have been won, but Macclesfield and the community won gold in the small city category, which is amazing. But also, the museum, the Silk Museum, won gold in the small tourist attraction and best overall, which is incredible. So some great awards there. Also, the floral displays are out for tender. The submissions have been received and they're being considered at the minute, and that's all going through the process. So we'll be appointing someone that's in that provision.
Thank you very much. I think a big hats off to the Ranger team, but it's not just the Ranger team in relation to Bloom, it's also the volunteers that help the Rangers, but as well as the likes of the Silk Museum and their volunteers, and I say Ivy Bank and everyone that comes together to make Bloom such a fantastic project that goes on. Councillor Wilson.
Yes, I think it's very gratifying to know how well all the other categories have done. We started off with Britain in Bloom, you know, within the town centre and the town centre itself, and we've expanded that out. And I just wanted to report Ivy Bank School is in Macclesfield South Ward, as you know. And whilst the award has been won in the schools category, the garden is now a really big asset to the school all year round. You know, winning an award is a pinnacle of success, but that garden is there all of the time, supporting the children to do gardening and appreciate the importance of nature all the time. So it's just the floral displays just keep on delivering for our community, and when it delivers for children, I think that's really important.
Thank you. Any other comments? No. Okay, thank you. Moving on, 6.3 is festoons.
Yeah, so they've still not been formally handed over to us, the new festoons on Chestergate. Obviously they're forming a fantastic part of the Christmas display on Chestergate, but they still haven't been handed over to us properly. So they're not our asset at the moment.
Not much else we can say on that, I suppose. 6.4 is Christmas lights, which are shining brightly as we speak.
Yeah, so it's been a real challenge this year for lots of reasons, but the main reason has been the electricity supply. So as part of the Mac on Foot project, where the new lanterns have been installed down Mill Street, the electricity supplies for our Christmas lighting were taken away, and we weren't aware of this. We discovered this in, I think it was maybe April. So we started working with Street Lighting, Cheshire East, and our lighting provider. We had lots of meetings, and still it went to the wire. So like 2 weeks ago, we still weren't sure if we're going to have lights, but it has all turned out okay in the end. But going forward, we will need to consider what kind of supply we need for the future, because we can't, this is not a sustainable supply, and we need our own, so we don't rely on any other organisation to sort it out for us, so we're in control of it. So I have requested a quote from Street Lighting for our own feeder pillars, which is what a lot of towns do. So when I get that quote, I'll bring it back to this committee.
Thank you. As I said, I mean, being part of the panel that chose the lighting, maybe a few other issues that arose once Tessa had gone on, but I think they're looking absolutely fantastic. As well as the Christmas tree that's Councillor Bellywake?
Just to say, well done for saving the Christmas lights.
I was worried at one point.
Okay, item 7 is leisure and outdoor activities, 7.1 parks and play areas.
So work's been completed on Sandwich Drive play area, although some of the work has had to be halted because of the storm, so they were working on it undercover at West Park. For South Park, 4 submissions have been received. The new play equipment will be reviewed before the recommendations made. There was some storm damage in South Park. I'm sure everybody saw the photograph. It was quite shocking, really. There's a lot of damage across the town. And then the planning permission for the West Park showstopper is on the portal. So, watch this space, I guess.
When would be, try again. When do you think we'll have a decision? When's the decision
I'm
making?
not sure. Do you know, Abby?
I thought it's January. It's due January.
So,
And it's ready to go, I think, once the decision is made. It can be like put in straight away.
hopefully something for the children of Macclesfield in the new year to test its hands. Any comments, Councillor Wilson?
Well, I just wanted to comment on the storm damage and how quickly that was tidied up by Cheshire East Council Highways. I was run director on the morning of that Saturday, and we'd actually called it off the night before because the weather was very, very bad, and you have to think about your volunteers in a situation like this. But as ever is, you go to the park first thing in the morning to make sure people have got the message. And you can imagine my thoughts as I walked down past the bandstand and saw that a tree had fallen on the pavilion. I was very, very concerned. But the Friday before had been a very, very busy day indeed for highways, and they absolutely cleared everything up really, really quickly. You know, there were some really, really bad incidents, cars crushed, pictures all over Facebook about it, but I do think we should commend Cheshire East Council for the way in which the highways team dealt with all of the tree removals. I mean, there were some roads that were barely closed half an hour. We really did have good service there. I think it's important to mention. And even in the park, the tree was cleared within a couple of days. The park run route was open, etc. So, you know, good job done there by Cheshire East Highways. I think praise where praise is due.
Any other comments? Item 7.2 is the South Park Pavilion. Talking about the pavilion just.
It wasn't badly damaged.
Well, I tried to get a tree on it.
Oh, that was you, was it?
That was actually that one. I'll give you a brief update if that's okay, Chair. We are working with the design team. They've been given a clear target of a capital sum of money for the building. We've also taken advice from a hospitality consultant, and I think we've been clear with the design team that they must take that advice and design a layout that's functional for the council. I think that will probably involve a further redesign in terms of the layout we've got. But also we're not going anywhere or recommending it for tender until its foundations are fully designed, and that the structure is fully designed, and that they have designed the mechanical electrical services, because at that point everything is known. So we're not at that stage, and I doubt we'll be at that stage until the new year. However, progress is heading in the right direction. So if the fundamental point is before about the middle of May, we need a tender from a contractor for the price that we can afford, which is still possible, right? But we're not going to tender until we know exactly what it is we're building. So it's just, so I'd say positive progress, but a bit of work to do.
Any updates on the lease?
So we have had conversations, Laura's had conversations with Cheshire East. It has moved, but it's a small step, still not right. So progress being made, but not yet settled. And they believe they've also found a route around the fact that the park is held in trust, and therefore, which is the sole person who's involved in the trust is Cheshire East. So progress, but not there yet.
Baby steps, as they say.
A bit more than that, but I think needs a bit of pressure on the new year.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? No. Okay. Item 7.3 is playing out. So as it says, no update as this will resume in the spring.
Yeah.
Thank you. 7.4 allotments.
So probably the most noteworthy thing to say is that as part of the Storm Claudia, we did have some quite severe storm damage from a large oak tree at Knowsley Road allotments. We had it surveyed 3 months ago, and we'd carried out the remedial work, but it's still, the winds were that strong that it pulled a lot of the limbs over. So they were completely blocking the footpath. So we just closed the footpath, took that decision, and then the clear up project commenced. So yeah, we had to carry out a lot of work on that particular tree. And then since then we had it resurveyed, and they recommended that we pollard it to 6 metres. It was a significant tree, it was huge. So that work's happened now, that's all done. So that tree is
Also, Birtles Road, there's some.
Yes, so we've got a tree there that's protected by a tree preservation order, and it's overhanging someone's house. It's not dangerous, but some of the branches are causing a bit of a nuisance into their garden. So we've had the tree officer from Cheshire East come to have a look, and she's recommended that we apply for planning permission. We don't necessarily have to do the work, but it gives us, I think it's 3 years, it gives us to do the work. So it protects us that if we need to do it, we can just do it without without the delays of permission.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Allotments? No. So it's just work that needs to be carried out to make sure that it's safe in and around.
Yeah, so just to say that off the back of the storm and what happened with our oak tree, because we want to be cautious and safe, I have been carrying out visits to all of our allotment sites. So we've got 6 sites, assessing what trees we've got. We plan to get them all surveyed. And then if any work is needed, we'll carry that out. So we're going to implement a more rigorous regime for checking the trees.
Not to say that it happens, but it's something that potentially gets overlooked until storms.
Well, we do check them, but we just want to make sure we've got something proper in place.
I think that is a very, very wise course of action. I think that we have been clearly maintaining and surveying the trees as we're talking about now, but I do know of countless instances where people were saying that a tree had been surveyed relatively recently and it had still come down. There was 2 by the Packhorse Building Club that had come down and they'd only just been surveyed. So I don't think there's any issue with the survey. I think the storms were so severe, and I understand that the wind's coming from the east, which makes it worse. But I think it's very sensible to do that because it's you can't totally inoculate yourself against those sort of things happening. But at least if you do more regular surveys, you can be, if you do need a tree preservation order amending to allow you to do some work, the application can go in and be ready for you to do that work. So I think that makes a lot of sense.
7.6, 7.6, no, 7.5 is street sports. I'm ahead of myself then, sorry.
Yeah, so we've moved to the winter locations, which is lifestyle fitness, and as you can see by the figures, Thursdays are so popular.
It looks like they continue to be popular.
They do, yeah, which is great. So they have a brilliant time. But also, the Tuesday, we're going to try and build that up, but it's still valuable. It's regular people, children that attend, so it's valuable for them too.
Yeah, definitely. Not much more to say apart from strong numbers. It's giving those young people something to do on a Thursday evening. Anything else? Okay. 7.6 now, Barford.
So it's currently paused because Matt obviously isn't continuing to do the sessions for us anymore. So we've put out a quote, well, an invitation for people to come forward with their quotes. So we've not had a lot of submissions yet, so we're going to have a bit of a rethink. We're going to have a bit of a chat and
Yeah.
see,
Meeting with Matt on Friday.
yeah, just to see why maybe we've not got. Do we need to promote it more in the gyms? Do we need to target personal trainers more and that sort of thing? So yeah, we're going to have a bit of a rethink, but we still aim to bring it back for spring. So that's our aim.
Councillor Anderson's
Really.
I mean, I think Councillor Livingston should take the session.
I was just thinking that exact same thing.
Sheer entertainment.
Any comments or questions? No.
It's possibly the time of year, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7.7 fitness for the future.
Yes, so following on from the last services committee, I think it was yourself, Chair, that had asked for some feedback on how the sessions were going, some anecdotal sort of information. So that's been provided, and there's some really nice stories in there about how, you know, not only has it got people active, but they've been able to get into competitions and things that they didn't think that they would be able to previously. So it's actually really interesting to read the impact of those sessions.
It's also good to see again good strong numbers. I mean, it may not be the same as the street sports, but they're constant numbers. So people coming back week in, week out. It's fantastic to see. And, you know, the case study there, heartwarming to read. Any other comments, Councillor Bennett?
I did really enjoy reading the case studies, which were quite heartwarming, and it's really good to see that you don't have to run, you can walk to play football, and there's something for everybody regardless of your needs. And I'm particularly pleased to look at those steady numbers of almost a dozen more than a dozen every week in supported housing. And I just wondered if we tie in at all with 1U, and then that could be like the next step for people after having an introduction to regular exercise, and then perhaps move on to something else, or is it something that we just aim to carry on delivering?
I think, so this is a 12-month contract, so I think we're about halfway through that now. So I can speak to Community Sports Trust and see what they currently do in terms of liaising with 1U, and see what happens already. But then we can look at anything in the future about how we continue that and make sure it's sustainable for people.
Yeah, it's just about working together and sharing resources and giving people the best chance to have exercise. She says, I haven't done none at all today, apart from getting a Christmas tree on the loft.
Any other comments? Item 7.8, there is no information on some schools. Just having a fun lines on them.
Oh yeah, sorry,
Yes.
that shouldn't be on there.
No.
If it's on your agenda, apologies for that. Yeah,
That's fine.
not currently.
Trying to trip you up again, aren't you? So, item 8 is street scene, and item 8.1, public realm.
Yes, so as I've mentioned in the festoons item, Mac on Foot project is complete, but we still haven't received a formal agreement, so we just await that so that everything can be properly, formally handed over. O2, they still are very interested in having the mural on the side of the building, but they're just negotiating their lease at the minute, so I mean, it would be a great place to have a mural, so we keep our fingers crossed that it's sorted soon.
I think from memory it's the same as last meeting.
Yeah.
Still waiting, yeah.
So I have chased it up, and they've just said that they'll get back to me when it's sorted.
I'm just meaning with the back on foot as well.
Oh yeah, that's the same, yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, you never know, by the next meeting they have some updates.
Yeah.
Item 8.2, town ranges.
Yeah, so obviously they've been part of the success along with the volunteers and the community and the schools of Britain in Bloom, which was fantastic. They've also, they're into their winter work now, so their street signs. They've been doing a lot of work for me on the allotments. They were fantastic support when the tree came down in the tidy up, because obviously the tree surgeons removed it, but then all the fencing had to be replaced. So that's an ongoing project at the minute. But yeah, Grot Spots, we continue to get requests from members of the public through Facebook, through email, not so much on the phone, tends to be more email and Facebook, but yeah, so
Brilliant.
carry on.
I think as well, not to say that the Rangers aren't doing any work, but if there are any residents that do see anything that maybe time you want to get in
just let us know,
contact, message on Facebook or an email. And again, I've been inclined to pass on our thanks once again to the Rangers team for the fantastic work that they've been doing throughout the year and continuing on in the future. Any other comments or questions?
Just to completely agree with what you just said.
Thank you. 8.3, 1625 gallery. I think I remember hearing something about this on our last meeting, and it's a subject that isn't like to be talked about, but is an important subject.
Yeah, so the installation from Dead Good CIC is now in the phone boxes. It's really intriguing. It's about discussing grief, having those difficult conversations, thinking about things in a different way. There's a phone in there that they are opening it up at the treacle markets. So the idea is that you can pick up the phone, say whatever you want to say to your loved one that's not here anymore. So they've got some really interesting ideas around grief, but also rather than it just being a static exhibition, like I say, they are trying to. Are they opening up at Twilight as well?
No, they've decided to focus on treatment.
Right, so they're focusing on treacle. So they opened yesterday and the next one, because they want to engage with people, they want to talk to people about these ideas about grief. So yeah, it's definitely worth having a look at.
Just noticing as well, grief cafes in the pictures room as well.
Yes, yes.
One of those.
It's all part of their engagement that they do. So yeah, this is their speciality.
Any other comments or questions, Councillor Wake?
Yeah, and then when I first sort of heard about this, I wasn't quite sure, but looking at it in more detail, and it is a tricky time of year for anyone who's, for people who've lost someone, loved ones, parents, friends, family members. It is a hard time of year. It's only just sort of quite recently I can go into a card shop without bursting into tears, but it's a really good idea. I think for anybody, just talk to anyone, someone at the bus stop, someone in a cafe, in the pub, wherever. Talk about your grief. It's part of life. You're born, you do something good, hopefully, and then you die. And there's different cultures do different things. Some people in Mexico polish bones. Personally, I leave little treats out for mum and dad in Halloween, and a place at Christmas at the table still. And I think whatever works for you, that people should do that. I just wondered, can anyone drop into the bereavement cafe?
Yes, anyone can, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So it's there if you need it. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 8.4, I think it's one of the most talked about events, not trying to take your thunder there, Rachel, but one of the most talked about events in Macclesfield and going northwest as well, the Elmer Trail.
Yeah, so Elmer finally arrived. Yeah, I'm quite pleased to be beating Rachel for a little bit. So they were delivered on the 21st of November, so that was just over a week ago really, and I have to say my face ached by the end of the day. I smiled from the minute they arrived at the library. The first Elmer came on the back of an open truck, so I could see it pull up, and I was, despite the fact that I've been looking at these pictures of them for months, and I was worried they might not blow me away, they did. And all day we were like, every time we put a new one in, people would stop and they'd look at it, and I swear there was like a grandparent and a small child at every location, and it was just such a lovely thing to see people getting excited about it. So yeah, at the end of the day, my face did ache from smiling. It was just a lovely feeling. And they've been really, really, really well received. Not been that much negativity, which is really great. And we did a print run of 2,000 maps, which we'd given out by the end of the first week, and had to do another emergency print run so that we had some for Step Into Christmas this weekend, which is absolutely amazing. There was a slight hiccup with the badges and just delay in getting those delivered, but we sorted that out. They all arrived in time for Step Into Christmas again, so people will be walking around with their lovely little Elmer pin badge. And yeah, we're just really excited, and there's lots of other things running alongside that. So I think there's about 20 other businesses who are doing extra things on top of like their normal everyday business. So Periwinkle and Clay, for example, are having a story and paint time on Friday mornings. There's a couple of sessions you can book onto where they will read an Elmer book, and then little kids can paint an Elmer, a little pottery Elmer. White Blossom Interior are selling some really nice Elmer or elephant shaped like bath bomb things. Loads of people have engaged, and they've got in like the Pizza Express and in some of the barber shops, they've got colouring sheets for kids to get involved in and do that. And then the Advent Window Trail this year has got a slightly Elmery theme, and we've got 60 businesses taking part, which is the most we've ever had on a trail ever. We've got art walks talking about the themes behind the elephant. So the theme of the elephants is art, and there's an original artist such as Van Gogh or Miro, and then their interpretation of their art by a contemporary artist. So you can learn a bit more about that. And then we're working with the Silk Museum, and we're working with the library and art space, and there'll be some craft sessions coming where you can create elephant lanterns, which will then feed into Rachel's Lantern Parade in January. We've done loads of advertising for this, so obviously we know that people in Macclesfield know what we do. We know we're good at that, we can get that out there, but we've paid for extra advertising with the Manchester Evening News. We're on Hits Radio. We've got extra adverts on Silk FM, so we're trying to get it out there a bit further. And I think the fact that we've managed to give away 2,000 maps plus probably means it is getting out further than Macclesfield. And we've actually had, so the day I put them out, a couple were following us around, which we didn't realise, and they ended up at the train station with us. And they were from Barrow-in-Furness, and they were having a weekend in Manchester, and when they heard about the parade, they got on the train from Manchester and they came to Mac to see it. They didn't realise they were a day early, but luckily they got to see them all, and I gave them my very special pin badge, and I happened to have a map on me as well, so they got the map and they got a pin badge. But like for the first people to do it, to be from somewhere outside Mark, I think is really special. And we've seen people from like Birmingham have come to do it, and various other places. So we're really pleased so far, and you know, it's not even Christmas yet, so we're hoping for a bit more engagement to come.
I think things like this, the uniqueness, so the Super Bananas, the Manchester Bees, it brings people who want to engage and take part, and it's fantastic to hear that it's having that effect. People are coming from all over to come to Mac to do the trail, but also to help with local economy, and it's fantastic.
Yes, yeah. And people want them to stay as well. So many people said, can we not keep them forever? And it's like, no, not quite. maybe we'll do another one next year. Who knows? Might be something slightly different. We're already having thoughts.
Yeah, it's the talk of the town and beyond. Any other comments, Councillor Wilson, then Councillor Budderlake?
Yeah, so just remind me, this was the UK Shared Prosperity Fund
Yes.
monies.
Yeah.
So my question is more really about how we're going to document all of this in terms of the good feedback, because what happened from my point of view is I did a quote for the original piece of advertising, and I had emails from people, mainly to my Cheshire East email, but there was some negativity and criticism, which I'm dealing with. But I think it's really sad when people do that, when it's such a brilliant project. And I'm certain that as part of the UK Shared Prosperity Fund project, we will be reporting back.
Yeah.
And I would like, which I'm sure you'll do, but once it's ready, if you could let me have that. And also, I think we need to be getting out there and just telling people how good it all is, because we have to nip this ridiculous negativity about how great things are in Macclesfield. You always get, generally, when you the story about meeting the couple at the railway station is fantastic. But I just want us to be able to really document, as you are doing now, but make sure we've got all that in one place to be able to go back and say what a success it's been.
So 2 of the main things that we need to report on are social media and the reach, and the figure that we've been given by UKSBF, we'd sort of reached that within 2 posts.
Yeah,
And which is why we know that we can cover that bit, we're fine with that. We also have to support 5 local events. So this isn't just about us doing our events, it's about supporting other people to put things on as part of ELMA, which we are doing through the work with the library and the Silk Museum, and then the art walks and things like that. So we will be able to pull all of that together. We will, we've got every single social media post and the figures from that. We've got all the comments from that. So we will be pulling all of that together at the end to show what we've achieved.
yeah. And we'll go large on that, I'm sure, because it needs to be out there.
And the businesses as well. We will do more engagement as we go through, and at the end with the businesses to find out, right, from those that have taken part in the trail or who've got an elephant right outside their shop, how have you found things? Have people come in? So shops are giving out the maps, you can go back to the shop that you got your map from to pick up your badge. So we're trying to encourage people into those places, and might not buy something when they're in there, but they might see something that they want to buy at a later date. So again, it's all, there's thought behind everything that we've done. It's not just, let's stick some elephants in town. There is a reason for everything that we've done every step of the way. So
Brilliant, that's great, thank you.
Councillor Danny Meg.
I love ELMA. I think it's fantastic. Having worked in a school and just basically being a big soft kid. It's no, yeah. Giggles, the other big soft kid in the room. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's not just about having these lovely figures in town for people to come and enjoy. It's about education, it's about art, it's about reading, it's about active travel, walking around, getting the bus into town, walking around, enhancing the community. Over 60 businesses have got little ELMA pictures. I was just as excited to see them on Saturday as I was to see the ELMAs. I've possibly been, I'm hoping a busload from Liverpool will come down and see them, because my niece was ecstatic over the Van Gogh one. If you're listening, Eve, that's especially for you. But joking aside, it's really good, and the ELMA books are lovely. They're lovely not just for young children, but if you're sort of interested in reading for pleasure, which is a different way of teaching reading in schools, where children kick off the schools, they can lie on the carpet or a cushion or wherever, make a den under the table and read for pleasure, and they can read any book. And ELMA is an old favourite. So I'm hoping the bookshops, independent and others, are well stocked, because I did give the heads up to a few. And if you haven't read ELMA, go away and read it.
I'd just like to say as well, like, we're quite lucky from our office, we can see the ELMA in the churchyard, and how many times last week did we go, there's more kids, and we'd all run over to the window and we'd stand there while nursery after nursery and grandparents and families, and you could see all the little kids sitting on it, on the ledge, and having their photo taken and ticking it off on the maps, and it was the most heartwarming thing we've ever seen. So, yeah.
Councillor Livingston.
Yeah, just picking up Councillor Wilson's point, I think, let's not be deflected by the negativity.
Absolutely,
I think,
yeah.
because if you look at all this activity, then I think it's about promoting the activity that's done and the benefit that's gained. I wouldn't be deflected by it. I think that negativity, it's unusual, having come from a place that has much less than Macclesfield has, but it was much less negative. But let's not be deflected. There are those who are always going to complain. I think it's just about calling them out every single time that they do.
Yeah, with evidence.
And evidence, and then pushing back. Because I think you see Macclesfield being noticed more
Mm.
in terms of national press or even Manchester than it's ever been. And that's a sign of that message starting to get through.
Yeah, big tick from us over the Service Committee for the Elmer Trail. So item 9 is the town centre regeneration. 9.1 is the town centre free Wi-Fi data.
For some reason I've got that bit missing. However, I can tell you that Wi-Fi usage continues to go down. It's still healthy, but it is a lot lower than it was this time last year. We have, as requested, shared the poster about how to get onto the Wi-Fi with the Job Centre, the Citizens Advice Bureau, the library, and the DIB, I think it is. So, and the college as well. So we are getting that information out. It's then up to people whether they decide they want to use it or not. But it's still getting numbers, decent numbers every week.
Comments? No. 9.2 town centre signage.
Yeah, so I think as we've said a couple of times before, 2 of the Museum on the Street boards have gone up, and feedback for those is so far really good, actually really positive. People really love them, really interesting and quirky. We had hoped to have had the other boards up by now. We've decided to just put a hold on that temporarily until the spring so that we can just focus on all the Christmas events in town, and obviously the Elmer Trail as well. It would be a bit weird to have 2 things going on at once. We don't want to dilute the impact, and actually having 2 things separately gives us a bigger bite of the apple, as it were. So yeah, all good.
Thank you. So, update for the next, well, maybe not the next meeting, but
No, so it probably won't. Well, we might have a date for them going in by the next meeting, but they won't. The rest of the Museum on the Street boards won't have gone in by the next meeting.
and obviously the archway still.
Yeah.
As we were.
Moving swiftly on.
Okay then, 9.3 town centre regeneration working group.
I think so. Just Laura's done a little report here, and just say the town centre seems to be doing really
Very
well.
Mm.
Yeah, we're noticing it. We can see it, like when you go out in the day and it's busy and there's things popping up. So the Grosvenor Centre has been sold, so we don't know anything about the new owners yet, I don't think, but we're going to hopefully be meeting them soon. But Mill Street, so there's a new cafe opened, Blue Tree Home has knocked through and made a bigger shop. The indoor market has got loads of new stalls, and there's is it the Makers?
Makers in the market.
Makers at the market. That's opened up to give people a chance to give stuff a go. So yeah,
The old Iceland shops full of pants.
Yes, yeah, something's happening there.
These pants were.
It's full of pants. I had a peek through a gap in the window and you could see pants. So we don't know what it is yet, but there were some pants in there.
Yeah, so there's things happening. Good.
No, it's fantastic. I mean, obviously, we are aware that high streets are on the decline. To hear something positive in our hometown is absolutely fantastic. And may it continue. Councillor Winston?
A couple of things, I think. To follow the same theme, I think the indoor market, I think the Cheshire East staff who ran that should be commended. I think they did a great job. It is it's a fundamentally different place to go. I think that's why it's becoming more popular. If you go there on a Saturday lunchtime, it's really busy, and it never used to be. So I think commendations to Joe Wise and their team for that. But I think it's the other thing of we might want to think about, and it's maybe for the full council, whether we extend the facade work we did with the council paid contribution to improve some of the fascias in the town centre, whether we think about that for some of the empty shops, just to make them look better. That might be worth spending some funding on next year. There are 2-3 shops that are currently empty in Mill Street that if you even just put some signage up, tidying it up, would make a dramatic difference. This is just a suggestion, maybe for further thought.
You'll take that over to Town Clerk and have discussions, yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Councillor Wilson?
Yeah, I think the indoor market continues to be a real star for us within the Grosvenor Centre. I think the layout in there is much better. I concur with Councillor Livingstone in terms of the success of the regen team at Cheshire East and actually making all that happen in terms of the leases and things like that. Continue to receive very positive comments about the toilets and how clean they are and how they're always available. You know, they don't go in there and find their, I mean, they're closed when the market's closed, but you go in there and you don't find they're closed down. There is currently some funding at Cheshire East and a tender process going in to put some more artwork in there, which I think will make it much more attractive. I think we do need to talk to the new owners of the Grosvenor Centre when we find out who they are. We need to get a good you know, discussion going with them because you know, the market is, I think, one of the stars of the Grosvenor Centre, and we need to make sure that we push our advantage there. The car park is owned by Cheshire East Council. That's not so attractive, but I guess it's a car park and car parks do what they say on the tin. I think that it's interesting that the Grosvenor Centre was put up for sale, particularly when the vacancy rate had gone down so much there. But it is what it is. But certainly Mill Street's looking better, I think. And new, unique, independent shops going in. All good stuff.
Just to add comments about the indoor market, I was in the indoor market on Saturday, spoke to one of the stall holders, and they said that since the seating area, the communal seating area has been put in, it's constantly busy.
Yeah.
So it's a massive tick in our box, obviously with help from Cheshire East Council, to be able to modernise it and put a place for people to sit, have something to eat, a drink, communicate, you know, just to meet up for an hour or so or whatever. It's a massive improvement. Councillor Benwick?
Okay. Yeah, I'd agree with what everyone's said so far, and having took a week off with the missus to go Christmas shopping and Christmas marketing. The market, indoor market, compares with other places like Chester or Stockport, or it's just as good. And if you haven't been there for a while, go in. It's always packed when I go in, even during the week. There's people queuing up to buy something to eat and sit down. The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker might be missing off the high street, but you can get all that in the indoor market. I'm sure there'll be candle bakers wanting to do a crafty shelf. But, yeah, but it's all there, and it's a growing place. And whilst we were talking about negativity earlier in the meeting, that, you know, people are like, oh, it's not what it was, and blah. But people shop online now, and you know, the shops, I'm glad that there's shops on Mill Street being occupied now, but they're not owned by the council, whether it's Macclesfield Town Council or Cheshire East. They're owned by really big businesses, hedge fund operators, pension fund operators, so that's out of our control. But what we can control is encourage people to come into our town and support our local businesses. So if you've not been in town for a while, come in and see what's on offer, because it's growing and it's good and it's positive, and there's something for everybody's purse, as in price range.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more, Councillor Benwick, thank you.
Could I just add something, sorry, Chair?
Yeah.
Just so that anybody watching this knows, a new artisan cheese stall opened on Saturday in the indoor market.
Yes.
John, who used to be the head chef at Suburban Green in Macclesfield, and he's always wanted to open a cheese shop, and he's done it. And I just think that's a fantastic addition to the market, and that's the sort of thing that Cheshire East will be trying to encourage. So if people can go and use it, because otherwise, give him 6 months and he won't be there. We need to use these people, otherwise they will go.
Yeah, indeed. Well said. Item 10, Council Identity and Communications. Sorry, I do apologise. Got off again. Yeah, 9.4 Greens Transport. Sorry.
Yes, so as Councillor Benwick mentioned earlier, Costa sponsored the Free Bus Day, which happened just after Christmas. and all the figures are in the report. You can see it's so positive. It's like such an amazing initiative, and the anecdotal stories that we hear are all positive about encouraging people to get on the bus. So yeah, the figures kind of speak for themselves, really, don't they?
Also with the sponsorship, that just came completely out of the blue, didn't it? It was an email that came in to the town council from Costa asking.
Yeah, they just emailed us and said we'd love to sponsor an element of your Christmas event, and it made sense for us for that to be the bus element, and they were like, yeah, we'd love to do that. So yeah.
If there are any other businesses out there that may want to help us in any way, the town council, get in contact. I'm sure there's room for everyone. But again, you know, the figures of the increase on bus usage on our event days, they speak to themselves. It's fantastic to see that people are ditching the car, getting on the bus. I don't want to say to promote too much a negative, but I did see that people on the 130 and the 83, is it, in Knutsford, along Victoria Road, having a bit of a gripe that their service isn't free. So anyway, the discussions, I know it's a bit out.
It's difficult. So the bus routes, are the ones that are included in our scheme, are provided to us by the bus company. And the reason that the 10 and the 19 and whatever, they tend to be, they start and they end within Macclesfield. If you've got a bus that goes from Macclesfield to Manchester, do you let that person have the whole bus ride free, or do you say, right, well, once you get to this point, you're then going to have to put your hand in your pocket? Just become, logistically, for the bus company, it becomes a lot more difficult. And that's why those buses aren't included, because otherwise you'd have people going all over the northwest on our dime, as it were.
No, I fully understand. Thank you. Any other comments or questions about police transport? No. So, item 10, council identity and communications.
Yep, so we continue to increase our Facebook followers and Instagram followers. They just sort of increase by the same amount every quarter, which is really good. And comparing us to other similar sized town or parish councils, we've got a very good following. And as I've said before, we know that when we promote our events on our social media, we know that reach is good, and that we know we can get to people via our socials. LinkedIn, we continue to sort of post slightly different content, more about the bus days, Catch the Bus month, the promotion we did for that, floral tender went out on LinkedIn, Parkfit, and then how Elmer has helped us to do things in town which we haven't done before. Social media stats, so in the last 28 days when I wrote this report, our views had increased from 233,000 to 484,000.
Just a small jump.
Just a small jump, but I think that says a lot. Visits to our Facebook page increased from 4,000 to just over 9, so
again,
a big jump. and that will be people going to look for the information on Elmer, for example. So we'll say go to the website because the information's here, or the floral tender. We're advertising that we've got the tender out, but to get more information they need to go to the website to download all the bits and bobs. So that's why that happens. Interactions again increased from 2 to almost 3.6k. Most popular posts, the announcement of Elmer, the official announcement after the countdown, reached 53,000, had over 80,000 views, and 67 people shared it. There was the reel that Lula Loves and This Is Macclesfield did, that got 30,000 reach. We can't see the views because it wasn't our original post, but it was shared from our post 255 times. Poppies, picture of Pete Lake, he's famous, bless him. 15,000 reach and 22,000 views. Then Step Into Christmas. When we posted to say there were only 30 cauldrons left with bumblebees at Spooky Saturday, 13,000 people that reached. It's like we only had 30 cauldrons left. We don't want to reach 13,000 people, but that's how it's working. Our new writer that we wanted for the new visitor guide, Spooky Saturday, Humber Monster, and the day that the Rangers go out and collect the pumpkins. That's always a popular day on social media. So, you know, really good numbers on those. And then the Mayor of Macclesfield continuing to be very popular, and she currently has 853 followers at the time of writing. As always, we sort of try and not just do social media, and particularly with Elmer, as I said, we've used some of that UK SPF funding to pay for extra advertising. So we've sent normal comms out to the Mac Express, so they will actually go in printed paper. Nug News regards to our Christmas event, and Elmer. Comms have gone to all the local businesses, as I do regularly, about what we've got coming up, how they can get involved, if there's anything we can do to help. Local radio advertising, Northwest radio advertising. We've also thrown in as well, not just the Elmer parade, but mentions of shopping and our Christmas event, and come and check out all the independents on Chestergate. So it's not just come to town and see Elmer, it's come to town, see Elmer, do this event, go in that shop, that sort of thing as well. As I said before, MEN, that went onto their website and into print as well. The call to arms video, and then email and posters sent to all of the schools, re-Elmer as well, so that kids know, go home and go, Mummy, Daddy, let's go and see all of this. Not that we're trying to use them or anything, but yeah. So it's all been very successful. It's all going really well with regards to comms, actually.
Just one question in relation to the post about the album in the schools.
Yeah. It goes to the office, so an email will go to the office. We've discovered not every school likes a flyer. A lot of schools are trying to cut down on the amount of flyers they send home to parents. As a parent, I like a flyer because I get it out the book bag and I go, oh, that, and I'll stick it to the fridge. But not everyone likes to do that, so they all get an email from us explaining what it is, and then like an attachment poster or a copy of the map or whatever, and it's up to the office then whether they decide to disseminate that information or not.
Okay.
So if you'd like me to resend it to any specific schools, Councillor, I will do.
No comments?
I will give everybody a nudge though, because sometimes if they've got a lot to share, things get lost. So.
Just as well in relation to the views on the social medias, in relation to, let's say, Elmer, hopefully the people that are coming on to see that may decide to follow and grow the town council's social medias even more.
Exactly.
That's
So the Elmer Facebook and Instagram isn't completely separate. It's part of our little family. So there is a lot of cross-posting going on. We're sharing Elmer stuff, Elmer's sharing Matt Town Council stuff. So yeah, hopefully, like you said, that will have an impact, and we'll see in the figures next month.
Any other comments, Councillor Money?
Yeah, as well as everything else that you've done, I'm not quite sure why our local news, television news.
We have contacted the BBC and ITV, and you know, given them
the budget's over now.
giving them the lowdown.
We've got Elmer. We've got fantastic market. Get over it.
We've also had really good support from Richard Slater at Henbury Travel, who, as we know, features on the news on a regular basis, and he has emailed a couple of his contacts. So we will see what comes of it, but we have approached them and we have said it would be really great if you could come to Macclesfield and do a little feature on it and everything else, like I said, around the trail, because it's not just the trail. But we'll see.
Any other comments, questions? No? Okay. Item 11 is the budget for 26-27. This has been to finance already. So it was just a case of going through and I don't know if you've got any other bits.
No, just to say that if anyone's got any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. If not, I will find you the answer. Yeah, it has been to finance, so its next stop after this will be full council in a couple of weeks. So if anyone's got any questions.
It's a good strong budget, going in the right direction. what else to say. We're looking to continue our investments in Macclesfield.
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, there's a few changes which reflects things like when we move, we'll hopefully spend less on meeting rooms, that sort of thing. So there's been a few changes. There's been some recategorising. So the town clerk and finance officer have been working through making sure things are more specifically allocated within the budget. So that's why there's been a few changes. What else have we got? Obviously, we're going to have increased costs for IT, things like which we'll come on to with the next report. That's proposed at the minute. Yeah.
Councillor Wilson.
Yeah, I think the budget overall shows what a massive wide variety of achievements we're making to support Macclesfield across a whole range of issues, from health, fitness, retail, entertainment, small businesses. I think we're going to come and talk in a minute about the information technology stuff, but I think the new office is going to be a massive improvement for us. And I think that although there'll be costs for the new office, including the next agenda item, you know, if you compare the cost we're paying on IT at the moment for the pretty poor service we're getting with a slightly more expensive facility, but it's going to be state of the art and give us the support that we need, and the accessibility, the meeting room, the office is perfect. One of the things I like about it most of all is I think it'll be a lot more safer and secure for the staff to work there. I think that's really important these days. So it just goes to demonstrate what a wide variety of services and facilities and support we are making available to the precept payers of Macclesfield, yet still very well within what other local councils are charging. And we're giving back the precept to the people of Macclesfield. I think it's a really good description of all the sort of things we're working on, and I think that the new office is going to actually be probably mutually, we're going to have better facilities, better services, looking at the rent and the utilities, and that's, I'm sure all in all that's not going to be particularly more expensive than what we're getting at the moment, but absolutely mega more facilities and services. So what's not to like?
Councillor Longston.
Yeah, so although clearly there's an increase in the precept, so it's never something that we take lightly. I think it's that thing of support what Councillor Wilson has said. It's a range of things that are being done, both to support the community, but also support the economic development of Macclesfield and to promote the town. And that's really important, plus services that are highly valued by our community, including the Rangers, and the range of things that are done. So I think that is the point of, yes, it is an increase, but it's not that much more than inflation at the moment. I think the second thing is that comparison with other towns in Cheshire. You get a great deal more from your town council here than you do from others. I think it would be wise not to forget that.
So we will need to vote this through, or not vote it through, whichever way. So as the budget stands at the moment, is anyone willing to propose the budget?
Yeah, me.
Councillor Wilson, the second, and Councillor Winston. So we'll take this to the vote. All in favour of the budget for the coming year? Before we go on to the last part, which is the date and time, we have a supplementary agenda item which has been forwarded to councillors. As been mentioned, it's about IT for new offices. So we have got the information in front of us. I don't know if you want to give a little bit more information on.
Yeah, sure. So we are moving offices, and as part of that move we have had an audit of our equipment and what we're going to need going to our new premises, and what we need on a regular basis in terms of IT support, because currently the support that we get, it's not the best support that we need. in order to function sort of on a daily basis, our computers can be a little frustrating. So yeah, we've had an audit, we've sought quotes, we've had 3 quotes, and this is the quote that we're recommending based on a number of factors. But the cost is, so the initial cost of the IT systems and to put the networks in and everything is £9,933.01, but then there'll be a monthly ongoing cost of £380.10. So that's the one we're recommending for what we need as a town council.
Thank you. Has anybody got any questions? Councillor Wayne.
Sorry. Just wondered how that compares with other town councils and what we'll be getting.
Yeah, so it's the town clerk and the admin and governance manager that have been working on this, and they've been speaking to other town councils about what support they get, and this is cheaper. So because we were a bit surprised, yeah, this is cheaper. But also this company provides support to a number of town councils, so they're used to dealing with that sort of setup.
Brilliant, thank you.
Anybody else? So we have got the 2 proposals, to approve the contract for Prism for the installation of the IT systems network at the new offices, and also to approve the monthly costs of £380 and £10. Do you have a proposer at all?
Yes, I can suppose that.
Are you happy to propose both block?
Yes.
Yep. And Councillor Bennett to second that. Thank you very much. So all those in favour of those? That's unanimously carried. So rest easy. You can have your IT systems in the office. You don't have to go back to chalkboards, etc.
Probably more
Need to keep
efficient.
them around.
Maybe yes. So that just comes to the last agenda item, the date, time and place of the next services committee. So it will be 16th of February, 7 p.m. And are we here or are we at another venue?
It'll be to be confirmed.
To be confirmed.
Yeah.
So the date is the 16th of February, the time is
Yeah.
7 o'clock, and the venue will be announced once the town council staff know. Okay. So thank you very much for your attendance. I think we've had a fantastic meeting. It's been great to hear the fantastic stuff that's been going on in the town, and it's also to look forward to Christmas and also the New Year. Thank you very much.